Hello, Smars here. I'm going to continue this series on composition in comics, more so lettering, and how uh, your choice in your composition of word balloons, fonts, sound effects can actually have a dramatic effect on positively and negatively on the composition of your artwork. How they can work with or work against the entire experience of reading a comic. Um, so I will say this. I In this particular video, I'm going to use a few examples from uh, some other artists' works, and I just wanted to state that I'm not singling these particular artists out or their work, and I'm not trying to be malicious. I'm not meaning to perpetrate any sort of defamation of character or anything like that. I'm not trying to be a bully or anything. It just they're artists that I happen to follow that also do comics, and I just saw a few examples of some things that I do see happen quite a bit, and I personally have experienced and kind of felt I need to talk about as far because it also is a part of the composition of comics and lettering. Um, so this is a little bit more about uh, rhythm, but it also talks about I'm going to talk about something called eye juggling, which is a part of the rhythm of a book. Now this is something that I see more so in uh, manga. Artists that are influenced by manga. And, as you know, like manga reads right to left, not left to right. So what happens is a non-Japanese manga creator who very possibly has been influenced by both Western and Eastern comics takes these two and they sort of fuse these sensibilities into one. And you would think, okay, well, it's fine. It sort of has an artistic sort of flair to sort of work these two things. It can be a conscious thing or an unconscious thing. Most, 9 times out of 10, it's unconscious. It's just a matter of the creator having been influenced, because they read a lot of both of these types of comics, or they grew up in a country that reads left to right, but their work is very much influenced by work that generally reads right to left, such as manga. And so this is an example of that type of work where in the first panels you get a very typical, very Western reading left to right, and it's done very well where you know, you read across the characters, and you also read across these word balloons. And it flows right into the next page, where again, it goes left to right, and the characters are set up 1, 2, 3, and you read their word balloons. But then it breaks down in this third panel, where suddenly it switches directions into a manga Eastern sort of feel. So you get a flowing from right to left, like this, and the word balloons, the word balloons actually read down. And I'm not 100% sure. This is just a theory, but I feel that by looking at this, I'm assuming that this is actually the case of the art dictating where the position of the word balloons. And that is, you have some really dramatic work going on here with perspective, foreshortening, and things of that nature. And it's really, really well done. And so it didn't leave a lot of space, unless, there technically is space, not really you can put word balloons here, but they're going to read still really strangely. They're going to read in a sort of this downward motion. And if they had put them normally, then it would have kind of interfered with the work. if they had put them anywhere else, it would have really sort of interfered with the fluidity of this particular piece. And that sort of kind of goes into what I was saying about sort of pre-lettering during the initial rough pencil stage. When you're penciling, sort of lay out where you want the word balloons to go, and then write in them the actual dialogue. Very loosely. Write the dialogue in there, loose, very light word balloons and stuff, so that you can sort of adapt the artwork. And what I mean by that is that really it's sort of a simple fix, and this is what would have actually worked. You have left to right, left to right, and then again left to right, where the word balloons could have gone down across, still sort of cupping, sort of cresting across this character, and you would have still read. You could have read the character, like the actual physical character out like this, and read the word balloons across like this, or you could have just read straight across the entire picture, and the word balloons would have led you across. In the same way that they lead across here, they can lead across in a left to right. But here, they're juggling your eyes, and it breaks immersion, because a new reader is going to walk in here, and they're going to read left to right, and then they're going to be completely confused by this this third panel, and they're going to read 1, 2, 3 up, and be completely confused by the things that are being said. It's not going to make any sense by the time they make it to the next panel. And so the solution is really to make sure that you set things up properly, by pre-lettering. It's a really handy thing to do. And I know that in a lot of comics, you do get a lot of instances where you have a letterer that's a separate person than the actual artist, and I understand that. I get that. But if, say you are a creator and you are both the letterer and the letterer and the penciler, it's probably a good idea to pre-letter your work. This is another incident of that same sort of thing happening, eye juggling, and you can see. But this is a really good example because they're really strong with the sound effects lettering that they choose, and the way that they've chosen to lead the eye. Like here, you see, it starts off with the sound effect, and it leads into the action of the character. The character is the sound effect. The sound effect is coming from the character. And then it leads you right over to a reaction shot. But then it juggles your eye by making you go from where you were flowing left to right, then suddenly you're going right to left. And this is, possibly influence of, having read manga. And so the problem is that you have the character and action, the sound effect, and then the reaction. And it breaks immersion. It breaks immersion to go from left to right, and then suddenly from right to left. It breaks immersion where, we're so used to, in Western society going left to right, left to right, left to right. To do this, it completely breaks immersion, and that's something that you don't really want to do. You don't want to break the immersion. You don't want the reader to get confused and then pull back from the book and go, wait, what's going on? And then have to sit there and figure out, piecing it together and go, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to see this resulting in this. You want them to actually fluidly go action, sound effect, reaction. And that's what is happening here, where I just simply flipped the picture. And now this particular work looks like it's all on the same layer, like the sound effects are actually a part of the art as much as the characters. It's actually drawn all on the same in the same image. It's not sort of like digital lettering on top of comics, so it makes it a little bit more difficult if you don't pre-letter. And I mean, again, this would have helped. Pre-lettering would have really helped this, where you have the flow left to right, and then you have the flow left to right. Action, sound effect, leading your eye over to the reaction, final panel. And I mean, it's really simple, but again, it's all a matter of pre-lettering. And really, pre-lettering, it's as simple as just at the penciling stage, lay out exactly where you have your illustrations, and then you just sort of loosely lay out where you want your word balloons, and you type in you write in. I guess it depends on if you're a 100% digital artist or not. You write in where you want the dialogue to go, and you can loosely put in sound effects, and it just really, really helps to control the flow of a comic. So it really brings a good rhythm to the eye, to the reading, the flow of the eye. And I mean, after that, you can sort of change up. It leaves you enough room to sort of change things. And that's what you have here. You have enough room to sort of, oh, no, that's bad. You have enough room, like, you can see that initially I was going to make the word balloon really big. He was going to say a lot more than he did in the end. And then I reduced it. And it's still kind of around the same size. The words, they fit in there. I made sure that the words fit. And you can see in this one that the words that I chose, they don't line up exactly. Like you have 1, 2, 3 lines, and then I decided to change it to 1, 2 lines, and it can still fit in that same word balloon. The sound effect still kind of works the same. I can make sure that my sound effect fits in the scene and doesn't get cut off, and it doesn't overlap the characters. And if I wanted to, I could extend it out, and I could in sort of a pre-lettering state, I could have had the sound effect behind the character, and I would have known how far over to actually manipulate the actual font later on, and I could have made it bigger and set it behind the character and things like that. And you can see even in here there's an example where, again, the original balloon was smaller, and then I made it larger, and it still can fit the dialogue that's in there. And that's why I really believe in pre-lettering. I think it's a really good thing, a good practice for comics artists, especially if you take on the task of penciling and lettering and possibly even coloring. This is a good practice. It will help make the comic stronger. The composition, it will enhance the art composition and really enhance the entire reading experience. It will help new readers and even veteran readers to sort of make that rhythmic pacing. It sets that pacing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get that nice rhythm across with the eye, and the brain is in their mind, these words are going. The sound effects, the words, everything is going at the same time that they're experiencing the artwork. And so you don't want to break that immersion by misplacing dialogue and sound effects. Your fonts really are as much a part of the art and the comic experience as the artwork is itself. Okay, well, I'm going to probably do one other video where I talk about congestion in panels, panel congestion, and I hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully it was helpful. So I don't know what else to say other than thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.